Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzie and I was just recently accepted into the Disney College program for spring of 2019. I'm very excited to get started. I got accepted as attractions, which was one of my top roles, so I'm super excited for that. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is just kind of talking about my application process and the phone interview process too. So definitely stick around for that. My arrival date is January 14th and I go through May 16th. So if you're looking for roommates or friends, I am right here, definitely looking for some. I want to make as many friends as possible and I want to go do everything that Disney has to offer. So really excited to go down to Orlando and get all that started. So I applied for the Disney College program on August 20th, which was the day that the applications opened. So August 20th was the day that the applications opened, and I opened that morning as soon as I saw that they were open. So it was about 11:30ish that I noticed they were open, and that's when I applied right away. So I had my work experience already done in there, that way I could just click through, do my basic information, and just go on with the application, rank my roles and everything like that. I put interest in 15 different roles, and that sounds like a lot, but most of them were high. I had 11 high interests and 2 moderate, and I think that there were 3 low, so it was actually 16 roles, I think. Yeah, 16 roles. One of them was character performer. I had that as high interest. I told my recruiter that I was going to go to an audition, but I do not think I'm going to anymore because they're 8 hours away, and I got attractions, which was one of my top roles, so I'm perfectly content and excited to do that. So I applied that morning, and then about 30 minutes later, I moved on to the web-based interview. The web-based interview is just a little, kind of like a questionnaire, a quiz kind of thing that you take online. It's completely web-based, as it says, and it has like pretty basic questions, like I'm always on time. So one thing that everyone says is to make sure you are consistent, and I totally believe that too. So make sure you are consistent. So if you have a question, I am always on time, and you answer strongly agree, and then you say I am never late, and you put disagree, or that's not really keeping it together. You really want to make sure that all of your answers line up, because they'll ask you the same question again, just rephrasing it in different ways. So make sure you are consistent. And people also say to make sure that you try to stay in one of the stronger sections, so strongly agree or strongly disagree. But I put several neutrals. I put 5, 6, 7 neutrals, I don't know how many. I wouldn't really advise doing that, but definitely don't be afraid of the neutrals or the just agree or disagree sections. Don't be afraid of those. They want you to be honest. So if you just put strongly agree for everything, they're gonna know you're not being honest. So just give it your honest answer. If you really are neutral about something, don't be afraid to put neutral. So my phone interview, I had it scheduled for August 25th at 3:45, and it called a couple minutes before, so I was definitely prepared for that. I had note cards saying exactly everything that I wanted to talk about and all the roles that I had put interest in, and I had my laptop set up where I could put all of my previous work experience. That way I would know exactly what she was referencing to or anything like that. I'll show you guys my setup here in a little bit. So this is my setup for my phone interview. I had my laptop over there with all of my previous work experience on it. It's all color-coded, so here were my questions for my recruiter and my requesting locations up there. 2 questions that I didn't think would be asked, but just to be prepared anyways. Blue was my recruiter-related things, such as questions she could possibly ask me that I needed to be prepared for. Reminder to talk slow and to smile, because I tend to talk pretty fast. If I'm talking too fast right now, I'm sorry, I'll promise I'll try to get better. Her name and yes ma'am, no ma'am, that way I remember to be respectful. And over here was my role related cards. So they were all in order. The first 2 rows were high interest, and then medium interest, and then low interest, with them going down in order of what I wanted. So character attendant was number 1, and so on. Attractions was number 4, and that's what I got. And costuming was the lowest. I also had my top 3 for major, which was character attendant, attractions, and photo pass. I found this to be really helpful. That way I could know exactly where everything is. I wouldn't have to go through a list of paper trying to find everything. I could just look down and boom, there it is. So my recruiter's name was Stephanie. She was very, very friendly, very nice. She joked around a little bit, she kind of laughed a little. So I did get a little bit of good vibes from her, but also at the end of it, I was not confident whatsoever. I thought I had done a terrible job. I was not excited for it. I was like, go on in NLIC me, that means no longer in consideration. I was all prepared for that. So when I got the email that I had gotten in, I was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, it was a great moment. I was very, very excited, very, very happy. So some of the things that we talked about a lot of different roles. But a lot of the basic questions, like have you ever had a conflict with a roommate, or have you ever dealt with a difficult guest or an emergency situation? I did not have any of those questions. I also didn't have like standing outside for long periods of time, working in various weathers. I didn't have many of the basic questions that recruiters typically ask in the interview. But I had a few questions that I wasn't so sure about when we were talking about the roles. So the first role that she mentioned to me was a character performer. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was quick service food and beverage. That was the first thing that she mentioned to me, so I was like, I'm getting that. I put it as high interest, kind of wish I didn't, because I don't think that I could do that role, honestly. Like, thinking about it, like I could do like an ice cream place, but if I got stuck at like Cosmic Rays, I don't think I'd be cut out for that because I had no experience whatsoever. So what she did ask me about that was if I had any experience working in the food industry. And I had told her no, I did not. So it would definitely be a learning process for me. And she went on to talk about how, it is like a really fast-paced environment, and how I did have sales experience, so I did work at cash register and everything, cash handling. So I did have that experience that could tie into quick service food and beverage. So then after we talked about that for a little bit, she moved on to character performer and asked me if I was going to audition. And at the time I had said that I was really hoping to, but it was about 8 hours away. So it would really depend on if I could get off work for a couple days so I could take a short little trip down to North Carolina, because I'm from Kentucky. Because I really wanted to go to an audition. They were just so far away. But yeah, so I told her that I was really hoping to, but like I said, I'm not going to anymore since I got one that I really am excited about. So after that, we had talked about character attendant, which I had told her that was my top role. She asked me what interests me about it. Well, I'm an animation major, so I told her the storytelling aspect about it, and how in animation you have to bring stories to life, and character attendant you have to keep the story alive and all the character integrity. So I thought it'd be a good experience for me to get the storytelling aspect of it in. And after that, we moved on to attractions because it also has the storytelling aspect, and this was the role that I was accepted for. She asked me about a situation where a cast member has given me a magical moment or something that has made a lasting impression for me or my family while we're down on the trips, because I had mentioned that we go every single year and it's something that we all love to do. So I told her about all of the cast members at Pirates of the Caribbean, which is one of my all-time favorite rides. My dad is disabled, so we have to have the front row of the boat because there's a little bit more space in it and his left leg does not bend. So I told her about how all of the cast members are very, very understanding and accommodating and allowing us to sit together in the front row and maybe wait a little bit or have the front row. That way we can all enjoy it as a family and not have to be separated, or, yeah, they were all very accommodating, and yeah, that's what they did. So we talked about so many different roles. We talked about most of them. We talked about pretty much all of my high interests and all of the interests that I really had in, except for vacation planner, which was my second top role. But it's okay because I got attractions. Like I said, that was my fourth top role. Very excited about it. And we talked about costuming. And one thing that really threw me off about attractions, one question, looking back at it now, it's like such an easy question. I don't know why I didn't pick up on it to begin with. It was, she kind of like jumbled it around a little bit, so these aren't like the exact words, but this is like the basis of the question she was asking. It was kind of confusing, like right on the spot, because I'd never heard a question like this before. So she asked me, within storytelling in Muppet Vision 3D, which I have never seen before, she asked how I would keep the story of the show alive while talking to the audience about safety wearing their 3D glasses. So that really kind of threw me for a loop. I had never seen Muppet Vision 3D. I didn't know anything about the show other than, like Kermit, Miss Piggy, but I wasn't really thinking about that then. I was like, oh my gosh, I do not know the answer. So I paused for a second and I just kind of thought about it, and I just mentioned kind of like the spills in the theater, how it's really dark in there and you could spill your popcorn or your drink and you don't want anyone to slip or fall because they could get hurt. It's kind of injury prone. And then I tried to change it over to PhilharMagic because I have seen that numerous times. I know they call their glasses opera glasses. You know, I could kind of work it in, but then I ended up calling PhilharMagic Fantasmic, and then that just kind of threw me off even more, and I didn't try to correct myself, and it just really confused me so badly at that point. And then I just started talking about how kids could chew on the glasses and you don't want them to choke. But in reality, I did not answer that question correctly or anything of what she wanted. But what she was looking for, I think, is like, Kermit says, don't wear your glasses outside. Simple as that, you know, because you can't wear your glasses outside because they are not sunglasses, and it could temporarily, like, hurt your vision or even permanently. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not an expert on 3D glasses. But yeah, I think that that's kind of the answer she was looking for, and I did not give that to her. So I was very, very nervous about that. But all in all, I think it worked out pretty well. I was not confident whatsoever. I told all my family I am not getting in. There's no way I'm getting in. But then I did. I was at work when I found out, and it was so exciting. I was very, very excited. I was freaking out. Yeah, my interview was 21 minutes. It was a lot of fun. I'm very excited to go. I start January 14th, and I'm moving to Orlando. Very excited. I did request locations. I requested Animal Kingdom and some classic attractions like Jungle Cruise and Pirates of the Caribbean. So I am hoping for one of those. Really, fingers crossed for Jungle Cruise or Haunted Mansion or any of those. But you know, everyone wants those. So if I don't get one of those, I'm totally okay with it. I did ask other questions like how did you get started in the DCP, or can you sign up for multiple classes? Just things like that. So yeah, my phone interview went pretty good. Other than those few questions, it's really down my confidence. But you know, if you mess up a couple times, it's totally okay. The interviewers understand that you're really nervous and maybe you've never done this before. So I think that they are pretty understanding in situations like this. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for you. If you want to follow me on Instagram or anything, I'll leave those down below. I have a personal Instagram, of course, and then I also have a Disney Instagram, which I will put those in the description. It's Kinsey.Shepherd and at Wish Upon a Camera, but I also really want to change that name, so if you're watching this and it's different, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm really excited to start my Disney College Program journey. If you are in the college program for Spring 2019 or Spring Advantage 2019, definitely comment down below. Maybe we could hang out, be friends, or anything like that if you want to. Or if you have any questions about the Disney College Program that either I can answer now or once I actually get started into the program, definitely also leave those down below. I am going to be vlogging during my program, so I'm very excited for that too. So definitely make sure you subscribe for more videos. I think it's a great way to document everything. So very excited to get started, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.